Hello and welcome to another entry in the DungeonCrawler Game Jam of 2024. This time we will have a look at It's in My Head by Machinescreen. And first let's have a look at the theme incorporation. This game incorporates the theme Cosmic Horror as you are being attacked psychically by an unknowable cosmic entity. Apart from the entity, you are also entirely alone. So I guess solitude as well. Alright, let's have a look at the game page. And this game cannot be downloaded, so I will play that one in the browser. Earl Caldwell, a research station, has been infested by the Void entity. It was built to study and must be destroyed. Find the reactor room and overload the core. Prepare for the entity's psychic attacks. It's in My Head is a classic grid-based dungeon crawler in a sci-fi setting with random encounters that play as reverse breakout-style battles against an alien entity that is trying to destroy your mind. That sounds interesting. Reverse breakout style. I guess this is representing the battle. Okay, I'm not sure what reverse is supposed to mean, but we will see. WASD-QE move hold to continue. Okay. Numpads. Okay. X for anxiety pills. Okay, let me note that down. Anxiety pills. Then we have the left click to place blocks. M to map. Okay. And enter for full screen. Okay, gameplay video on YouTube. We don't need that. Made over 9 days for the DungeonCrawler Jam 2024. Tested in Chrome, Firefox and Edge on Windows 10. Note the game doesn't seem to work on Mac. By the way, I'm going to use it on a Brave, which is, I think, Chrome. So, and Windows 10. Music by Adam Rustich. Alright. So, I will quickly open that. 1 second. Yeah, so just if you are interested, you can find that at Machinescreen as well. But of course, you can also just click on the in the video description. You can find a link to the itch.io page, and then you can click further from there. All right, with that, let's jump into the game. It's in My Head by Machinescreen, and here we are. In the game, we have the same description as on the page here, and on the right side we also have F for focus pills. Alright, let's click to begin, and then let's look around. Okay, so you can also see the hotkeys on the top right. Fear 0 of 20. Okay. Alright. Focus pills obtained. Okay, I can also see that on the top right now. We have 2 focus pills. This one is closed. Maybe we need a key for... Yeah, we have access level 1, so maybe we need a key for access level 2. More pills. This time anxiety pills. Blocks must be placed adjacent to each other. I am not sure what I'm supposed to do. We can... I think we just need to block the entity. So the enemy is basically the ball, which is jumping around. But I'm also not sure what triggered that. Maybe it's just random every now and then. Doop, 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 doop. Boom. Okay, now we've got 2 of them. I don't know what... I mean, I can just click something there. I don't think that there is much, like, tactics involved in what you place there. I think we need to keep the enemy out, but yeah, not quite sure what to do there. We have no, I haven't been here already. More pills. That's the long corridor we came from. Or maybe... no, there's more. Okay, so we get more every time. I'm not sure if they just get stronger the further... ah, okay, so the more adjacent tiles there are, the higher the number is, I think. And it seems like every time we get an additional dice, which is rolling. But right now I'm still just running around, basically. I'm also not sure if we... oh. If we... ah, okay. If we keep the... it seems like we keep what we had in the previous level, so you can build up accordingly. Yeah, so this is probably a game where you should create draw a map. Or maybe you're lucky and find the key. Yeah, so it's not increasing. Yeah, once... nah, it's a bit unfortunate. It basically has... yeah, the mechanics is a bit like... the worse it is, the harder it becomes. It's usually you would want it the other way around, that that it doesn't, like, what do you call it, that cascade, or that you don't have a snowball effect. That the further down it is, the easier it is to fight against it. But I'm also not sure what focus is actually doing, so maybe cannot use focus pills here. Ah, okay. And anxiety, that was the X. Oh, okay. It's only decreasing fear by 1. So let's just eat everything. And there's our access level key. So we have... ah, okay. Okay, it becomes easy. It gets easier because of the reduced number of dice also means that less is being damaged each turn. So there's that. Okay. Yeah, now we are encountering doors with a 3. But I think it's basically just about finding the key cards. Which means that the shortest amount is what you should go for. Combat is an interesting idea, but the issue with a design like that is that you basically always go better with just restarting the game, especially if the combat is random, like you can't avoid it. I think smaller dungeons would have been better in this case. Or, I totally forgot we have a map. Alright, that was... And the map is completely mapped out already. Okay. Yeah, that was on me then, of course. Oh, still, we need to find the key. Of course, you... At some point... Yeah, I will just, because I don't see any points in continuing that in this case here. The entity obliterates your mind completely. Death is instantaneous. At least we don't suffer. Alright, so let's try that again. And just keep looking at the map then. So what we need to get is the first key. And I'm not sure if that's randomized, but I think we might have had that in like the south east. But with having a map available, of course, now you tend, if that's possible, you tend to just have the map open all times. So this time, when we still have just one dice, we can use for strengthening our defense for later encounters. There's the key. Okay, that was this. Let me quickly draw, just so that I remember that for the next time. If I don't manage to finish that, but I think it's the same room again. Alright. So now we need to find the key for the next one. And there's a big room with a 3. The entity withdraws. I don't think that the key will be behind the door with a 1. So I will just skip all of them. Nah. Okay. Bloom. One. You might also want to keep all the focus pills basically for the end, and if you approach like a critical point, then maybe just keep 1 ball alive to keep regenerating the whole defense. Okay. One. There's a 2. Okay. Okay. We have 2 fear. We can remove that. One and 2. Nope. One. Okay, so it's probably in the center. Yeah, so it's extremely thin now. So it might be a good idea to just intentionally let them through the next time. And then keep it as long as possible with just one dice. And I can already start building something on the other side. Where they aren't. Tulum. Tulum. This is a 1, so I don't think... Ah, there's 2. And there's the keycard for 3. Okay. And my guess is that in this big room in the south, you will find the exit. So before we go there, let's briefly talk about the movement and perspective. So perspective is pretty much perfect. The tile sizes are fine. You see a little bit of the tile you're standing on. It's just like a few pixels, but it's fine. And you also see the walls. So if you compare that with Grimrock, for example, you see a bit more of the tile you're standing on in Grimrock. It's also a weird choice here, because you can see more of the ceiling than of the floor. So if you just lowered the camera a little bit, it would be pretty much what you can see in Grimrock. So the camera is very high up. Yeah, just a few pixels down would probably be better, but it's fine as it is. I mean, because you're also not taking anything from the floor, you don't need to see the floor, so that's fine. The controls, it's not queuing up any keys, so if I move forward and move right, it will completely ignore that. What you can do is hold the buttons to move. So if I hold forward, it will end in a continuous move. If I press twice forward, it will just ignore the second press. Same goes for the turning. If I move forward and turn, the turn is being ignored. If I keep turning, it's actually doing a continuous turn. My recommendation would be to not do a continuous turn, because there's no point in doing that. It could potentially rather create problems, because what you can do to turn immediately is go forward and hold the turn key, but then you might end up doing 2 turns instead. So what I wanted to do now is just let them go through, and I will create a massive barrier here. And now I can also use focus while this last thing is active. And then with all the future encounter, it would be much easier. So yeah, as I mentioned, for the turn, you can move forward and then hold the turn button. You overload the reactor and prepare to leave. Your fate unknown. And with that, we won the game. But let's go back to the... So if we go forward and keep the turning button, you also turn immediately. So that's a way so that you don't need to wait. But then I would also disable the continuous turn, because you will never turn more than... Well, you can turn twice, but you will not hold the button for that. Maybe you hold the button a second time. Because the turning is also relatively slow, it still works fine-ish. So just some things which could be improved, but they are fine niche already. What I would recommend is queuing up. So if you move forward and turn, that it would execute the turn as the next action. But yeah, that's it for in my head. I would be interested though in just restarted the game. I would be interested in seeing whether or not it's possible to just win the game without that was a wasted step. Without losing any... Well, of course it's possible. But let's try that. I think this door, if I took the other way, it would have been a level 2 door. So I will just let it do its thing on that side. Because when I'm creating it further down here, it also reduces the travel length. So there are a couple of tactics involved, which is nice, but of course the game doesn't really focus on that, which could have been interesting though. Alright. So, I mean, at this point, we need to protect it here. Of course, you could also try and get them to fly into a certain direction, but I don't think that this is really doable. Or really practical. So I'm not sure if we can go in from the south. Nah. Was here on the right side. And there are two of them here. I have no pills. Alright, now we need to hurry. Let's take the other side now. Okay, your fate unknown. Yeah, and with that we have beaten the game. That was It's in My Head by Machinescreen. Yeah, interesting little game with an interesting combat mechanic. I think that can be made into something bigger and more complex. Not something which will like be an hour-long game, but still. What I would have preferred, and I think what would also have made the combat more interesting, but I mean, it's a jam game, and maybe also the developer didn't have more time. But if there were like static enemies or so, or roaming around enemies, whatever, in the dungeon, and then you would encounter them, and then these balls maybe would have had different properties or something. And then, of course, you can also build a whole like level system or whatever around that. But just that these enemies change the combat a little bit. In a way, there was a Tetris type of game called Puzzle Pirates, also with other puzzles. But there, for example, different enemies had like different swords and blocks which were coming down. And so the puzzle was a little bit different each time. That could be interesting, could change a little bit. For example, one enemy has a dice which is only like 6 and 5 or something, or one has a dice which is green and removes 2 blocks or can pass through blocks or something like that. You get the idea. So I think that's the combat, the idea of that combat was actually interesting and could be expanded. But yeah, controls and could be improved a bit, I think, with the perspective. That was fine. So yeah, that has been It's in My Head by Machinescreen. Thanks for your contribution to the Dungeoncrawler Game Jam 2024, and also thanks to all of you who watched this episode. And if you are interested in watching more, you will also find a playlist in the video description with all the ones I did so far, and of course you can also subscribe to the channel. If you want to check out the game, you can also find a link to the HIO page down in the video description. Yeah, with that, thanks, and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.